Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. 90 Day Fiancé's Annie said marrying David was best decision. Are they the greatest couple ever? 90 Day Fiancé star Annie Suen thinks she's made the best decision by getting married to David Toborowski, even though the start of their storyline was rough and never showed any signs that they'd stay together. Annie, from a small village in Thailand, caught David's attention when she was singing at a bar. David thought he was hearing the voice of an angel and offered Annie a drink. A few days later, David proposed to Annie. David was 24 years older than Annie. He had children who were as old as her. David was also on a journey to transform himself when he met Annie. He had been through a divorce with his wife of 21 years, lost his job, house, and car, and had suffered a stroke. After taking his health into his own hands, David lost several pounds and went to Thailand for a fresh start when he crossed paths with Annie. Perhaps the universe conspired for them to meet, since 90 Day Fiancé became something that changed Annie and David's lives forever. Annie and David announced they were expecting a baby in a September 2024 interview with Us Weekly. Annie shared her excitement, saying she was over the moon after confirming her pregnancy in July. She expressed gratitude for the overwhelming love and support they received from fans during their IVF journey, calling it a powerful experience of turning the impossible into reality. Annie also opened up about her fertility struggles, describing the decision to pursue IVF as the best decision she's ever made. While she called it an amazing journey, she admitted it had been deeply emotional as well. Annie had to get some fibroids removed before undergoing the IVF process. David, who'd gotten a vasectomy to get his sperm surgically removed, and they did it on Valentine's Day, which David considers auspicious. He described the IVF process as a miracle. David and Annie are forever thankful that they decided to participate in 90 Day Fiancé. It allowed them the opportunity to share their journey. Annie and David are humbled and honored to be a part of the franchise for 8 years. Annie came from a humble background. She met David when he, too, wasn't in a good place financially. David was relying on the generosity of David's friend Chris Thieneman, who had been loaning David money. Chris reportedly funded David's engagement and wedding to Annie. David was living with Annie in a firehouse owned by Chris when she came to the US. However, Chris decided to later sell off the firehouse and force David to leave within 3 days. He offered David and Annie a chance to live in an apartment above a storage facility without a stove or functioning windows. Annie had been sold false hopes about what it was like to live in America. She obviously became upset about the new house. David asked Annie to trust her, and Annie didn't betray him. David understood the level of disappointment Annie was feeling because he pulled up his socks and dragged them out of the financial mess he'd created. David figured out how to make money using their reality TV fame. They earned through sources like Cameo, and David was able to purchase a home worth $500,000 in Fountain Hills, Arizona. He took up a career in real estate. Annie did have to struggle for the first 4 or 5 years of her marriage, but David tried his best to treat her like a queen. Earlier, whenever Annie and David were asked when they would like to have kids, they never had a proper answer. They seemed to have made up their minds not to have children, but it's possible they didn't want to expand their family while they were in a sketchy financial state. It was only after they moved into the new house that Annie and David decided to try IVF. Annie became pregnant on the first try. Fans have learned to spot social media clues that suggest a couple has broken up. It could be unfollowing each other or throwing shade through stories and captions. However, in Annie and David's case, nothing like that has ever happened. Although both of them post almost every event of their lives online, they have never created relationship drama for all to see. Their love for each other shines through their posts, showing how different they are from most other toxic 90 Day Fiancé couples. Their consistency and genuine affection continue to set them apart in the reality TV world. Many aspects of their relationship prove they are truly made for each other. Despite facing criticism for their age gap, they never let it affect their bond. David's young at heart and willingly takes part in things that make Annie happy. They've also worked through their language barrier with time and patience. Annie sacrificed a lot to build a life in America, and now David may be ready to uproot his own life and move to Thailand, so Annie can be near her family as a new mom. Their 90 Day Fiancé journey sets a meaningful example. Annie Suen Toborowski's radiant smile could light up any room, and in the world of 90 Day Fiancé, it's also proof that sometimes love does conquer all. When Annie first appeared on the show beside David Toborowski, the odds weren't exactly stacked in their favor. They were a mismatched pair in the eyes of critics. Different ages, cultures, and life experiences. Yet today, years later, Annie looks back on her marriage to David and calls it the best decision I ever made. And honestly, it's hard to argue with her. From their rocky beginnings to their undeniable glow-up, Annie and David have become one of the most beloved and stable couples in 90 Day Fiancé history. Their journey from chaos to companionship is not only inspiring but downright heartwarming. Fans who once doubted them now find themselves asking, are Annie and David the greatest couple the franchise has ever seen? From struggles to stability. When viewers first met David and Annie, their relationship seemed destined for disaster. David was coming off financial hardship, living on borrowed money, and struggling to rebuild his life after a difficult divorce. Annie, meanwhile, was a young woman from Thailand, full of warmth and spirit, but faced the reality of marrying into uncertainty. The couple met in a karaoke bar in Thailand, an origin story that sounds like the start of a romantic comedy, and soon fell deeply in love. Yet, the path to happiness wasn't easy. The dowry negotiations, visa challenges, and cultural misunderstandings made their storyline one of the most dramatic arcs of 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days, many fans doubted their marriage would even last a year. David's past mistakes loomed large, and Annie's family skepticism only added to the pressure. But through sheer determination, and a lot of humor, the two proved everyone wrong. Annie's love-filled reflection. Fast forward several years, and Annie now speaks about her marriage with a serenity that only comes from genuine love. In a recent interview she gushed, "Marrying David was the best decision of my life. We've been through so much, but he makes me laugh every day. We work hard together, we take care of each other, and we don't let small things ruin our happiness." Talk. Fans have watched Annie transform from a nervous newlywed to a confident entrepreneur and chef, while David has reinvented himself as a devoted husband and successful businessman. Together, they've built a life rooted in respect, patience, and laughter. Three things many other 90 Day Fiancé couples struggle to maintain. Their playful banter and natural chemistry have made them fan favorites on 90 Day Fiancé, Pillow Talk, where they often share hilarious commentary about other couples' drama. Viewers adore their authenticity. There's no forced script, no pretense, just two people genuinely in sync. Building a future beyond TV. While many 90 Day Fiancé couples fade into obscurity after their 15 minutes of fame, David and Annie have leveraged their spotlight into something lasting. They run a successful clothing and cooking brand, with Annie's Thai-inspired dishes gaining an online following. Their cooking classes in Arizona have become a hit among fans, with some attendees flying in just to meet them in person. Their dynamic is magnetic. Annie's fiery energy complements David's calm demeanor. She teases him relentlessly about his dancing, his diet, and his dad jokes, while he beams with pride every time she steps into the kitchen. Together, they embody the type of relationship that feels grounded, joyful, and real. Even their social media is refreshingly wholesome. Instead of drama or showy displays of wealth, their posts are filled with shared adventures, cooking sessions, and sweet moments at home. It's clear that fame hasn't gone to their heads, it's only made them more grateful. Fans crown them the real deal. Among fans, Annie and David's love story stands out because it defies the usual 90 Day Fiancé formula. They didn't marry for fame, money, or convenience. They married for connection. And that's why viewers keep rooting for them. Reddit threads, Facebook groups, and fan pages are filled with comments like, "David and Annie are the only couple I'd actually want to have dinner with," or, "They're proof that the show can lead to real love." Even 90 Day Fiancé alumni like Loren and Alexei Bravarnik have praised them for their maturity and kindness. Their chemistry on Pillow Talk feels effortless, and their ability to laugh through challenges sets them apart. While some couples crumble under the weight of reality TV exposure, David and Annie seem to thrive. Every year, they renew their commitment to each other, not with grand gestures, but through small acts of daily love. Why they might just be the greatest couple ever. What makes Annie and David such a compelling duo isn't just their survival story, it's their evolution. They've grown together, not apart. They've learned, adapted, and built a partnership that feels refreshingly modern yet deeply traditional. David once said in an interview, "We're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other." That sentiment sums up their magic. Annie brings spontaneity and lightness. David brings stability and loyalty. Together, they've created balance, a key ingredient in any lasting marriage. Unlike some 90-day fiancé couples who thrive on chaos, Annie and David radiate peace. They remind fans that love doesn't have to be dramatic to be powerful. It can be silly, patient, and a little unconventional, and still be the real thing. A legacy of love. As 90-Day Fiancé continues to introduce new couples each season, some chasing love, others chasing fame, David and Annie remain a shining example of what the show was meant to be about, finding real connection across cultures and continents. They've become the gold standard, the measuring stick by which all future couples are compared. Whenever a new cast member says they're in love, fans inevitably ask, but are they like David and Annie? It's a rare thing for reality TV to give us a love story that endures beyond the cameras, but Annie and David have done exactly that. Their laughter echoes louder than their critics ever did. Their happiness feels earned, not staged. The final word. Annie's declaration that marrying David was the best decision of her life isn't just a sentimental statement. It's a reflection of years of growth, forgiveness, and joy. From karaoke nights in Thailand to cooking classes in Arizona, they've turned a once controversial romance into a life built on laughter, love, and mutual respect.